This is Zack Hansen from Languish, and you're listening to the FANTASM Podcast.
Phantasm.
Maximum terror.
That's your target audience, baby!
Phantasm.
And you know something? I sort of enjoyed it.
Phantasm.
Sell the metal! Sell the metal! Sell the metal! Sell the metal!
Phantasm.
Hi, this is Dr. Vincent West, Medical Doctor, FANTASM Podcast. I have a very special guest today. We have Zack from Languish, and they are a fantastic band, and I really like them. And their new album is called Feeding the Flames of Annihilation, and it comes out on Prosthetic Records, and it comes out, and I'm going blind, October 7th. And need to get the eyes checked here, Doc. But yeah, thank you so much for doing this, sir. Thanks for coming on and doing this.
Thank you for having me, Doctor.
Awesome. I appreciate you doing this, man. It's very, very cool.
Yeah.
I'm new to the band. Really cool stuff. Real quick, can you tell me how Languish came together?
So Languish came together around 2014. My guitar player and I, Matt, were in another band, and our third member was constantly out of town, and we wanted to do something else. You know, we wanted to occupy our time with something worthwhile.
Okay.
And we always had the desire to up the intensity and the speed. And so we started out kind of more straightforward, just kind of grindcore. And we brought in, you know, a couple different members as we went. And that was 8 years ago.
Wow. Yeah.
And over the years, we've kind of changed up our sound a little bit over the years. You know, added more death metal elements, kind of stretched up the songs a little bit more.
Cool.
You know, no more 30-second songs.
Now, the previous band, was it grindcore as well?
No, the previous band was a band that we did for a really long time called North, and we were doing them simultaneously for quite a while. And North went on hiatus about 4 or 5 years ago after our last tour.
Oh.
And Languish has been the focus as well. And North was more of a doom kind of sludgy band.
Okay.
You know, we did tours with Conan and Intronaut.
Nice.
Various bands. And, it was also on Prosthetic Records, a band I very much enjoyed, and we just have not had the time to be active again. So,
Well, that's very, very, very cool.
Yeah. Thank you.
This record's great. Let's jump right into this. So what can you tell us about the first track, Manifesto?
So Manifesto is just that classic kick you in the ass banger to start the record.
Okay.
We kind of looked at it and we were like, let's write a song that starts this record. That's fast, that's punchy. And I think it accomplishes, you know, we thought about adding some other stuff to it, and we were just like, you know what? We like how it goes. We don't want any funny business before the track starts.
Sure.
So so it just hops right in. We just wanted to punch people in the mouth straight away.
Absolutely.
That song, we actually, the lyrics we actually all wrote together in the studio, kind of rewrote it and kind of piecemealed it together. So we kind of each came up with a line, and we're really happy with how that track came out.
Oh, yeah, it's killer.
Starts the record off on a really strong note.
Yeah, my first impression of the band, it's great. It's a great way to, very, very cool. Track 2, Last Legs.
Last Legs was the first song we wrote, actually. I want to say we did that maybe back in 2018. We kind of were thinking about adding it to a split with some friends of ours, and that just never materialized. And we were like, you know what? We really like this song. Let's hold it back for the full length, and let's add some more songs to it. And that's just, I think that was just the first song that we wrote when we were thinking about where do we want to go with new songs? Where do we want to go with a new direction?
Nice.
And I think it kind of combines the best of both worlds. You know, it's really high energy. It's got that great breakdown at the end. It's fun as hell to play. I really enjoy playing it on drums.
Nice.
And it's heavy. You know, it's a heavy song. I guess I could say that about every song, though.
Right. It's great. Let's see. Track 3, Ripped Remains.
Ripped Remains. That was the second song we wrote. It was we wanted to do another more grindcore song, and it's got kind of like it's got like one repeating part, which we don't normally do a whole lot of, and it was let's see, we were going to add a little bit of a kind of an industrial part at the end.
Nice.
We had a dream of some industrial metal at the end, and then as we went on with the process, I just said, you know what, let's just make it noisy as hell at the end instead, and that'll kind of deliver the same purpose. It's kind of I want to say it's like a zombie killing song.
Nice.
Don't quote me on that. I'd have to look at the lyrics. Sean wrote that one, but it kind of plays into the horror fantasy aspect of some of our songs.
Very, very cool.
And I also enjoyed that one a lot. I believe that was the second song we wrote, and we did a video of that, I think,
nice.
as a teaser way back in like the end of 2020, back when we thought this album was going to come out.
Oh, okay.
A lot earlier, and we put that video up and we were like, new song, new album coming next year.
Right.
That was very optimistic of us.
Now, this record, did y'all record this during the pandemic?
We did. We pretty much wrote most of it during the pandemic, and we were able to sit down and completely think about each song and edit and rewrite and think of it as a whole instead of song by song.
Sure.
The previous record, we would write a song and we'd be like, that song's done. Let's move on to the next one.
Sure.
But this one, we just did a lot of revising and a lot of thinking, and we recorded it in the summer of 2021. So
nice.
I think we were all vaccinated and we were ready to go, but live music hadn't quite come back yet.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah. So it is a pandemic record for the most part. I think we wrote 3 or 4 songs.
Oh wow. Okay.
But, yeah.
Very cool. Very cool. Let's see. Track 4, Parasite.
Parasite is one of my favorite songs. I mean, I think they're all some of my favorite songs. That's not really a song I don't like on this record. Whereas in previous records, you have a song where you're like, I don't know. Let's just put it on though. But this one, we just committed. We're like, that's every song we want to love. And Parasite is a personal favorite. It was a lot shorter. It went through a lot of changes. That was one of the songs where we completely ripped out the guts and just really refined and honed it. And I actually wrote the lyrics to this one, so that one's fun. It's
nice.
Kind of a homage / nod to the Korean film Parasite.
Okay.
Kind of with the same themes of landlords and living in America and making your rent and how difficult it is and how we all just want to be free and not have to work away 9 to 5.
Right. It's a great track. Let's see.
That hard life.
Yeah.
It's a fun one to play.
It's cool. I bet that one's very cool live. Let's see. Track 5, Poison Chalice.
Poison Chalice is the de facto grindcore song of the album. We've been running through that in practice the last couple days, and every time we finish it, we look at each other and we're like, that song rips. That song is a banger. It's so short, but it's so impactful. We feel that one. I don't think we made a whole lot of changes to that one. It was there's not a whole lot of space to make changes in it. The song's only 70 seconds long, but it's an intense song. It doesn't let up. It's got a lot of cool little changes to it, and it's a really fun one to do. And, we like to have at least like one straight up grindcore song per record. And
nice.
That's that one for us.
It's really, really good. Let's see here. Track 6, Judas Goat.
Judas Goat is probably the most ridiculous song that I've ever been a part of. It's it's so fast. It starts fast, and then we actually had a tempo change. We're playing to that click track, and we had to change the click track from the beginning to the next part because it had to be so much faster. So I don't even know what the tempo is. I'd have to ask Ryan. It's such a fast track, and I think that took me 3 or 4 takes because it's just such an intense song. It's all blast beats for, I want to say, at least 2 minutes straight. And they're fast blast beats, and that one is really fun. I wish we were playing that in Tucson tonight, but we couldn't quite get it ready. that was the first song we chose for the single because we wanted to show people, like, listen, like we're really not messing around. The song,
it's really good.
But if I showed this song to myself 15 years ago, I would have laughed in my face. You know, I would have gone back in time and just laughed at myself because I never would have thought I could have wrote a song like this.
I mean, it sounds like I'm a big fan of like early Crisian. That's what it makes me think about. It was just rip my head off when I listened to it. I was this is really cool.
Matt really kind of tapped into kind of early 90s grindcore and death metal for this album a lot. He was listening to a lot of Napalm Death. And,
nice.
I mean, he's always listened to he's always listened to Napalm Death. So, you know, one of the greatest bands of all time.
Agreed. Yeah, they're great. I never was really. I was doing an interview recently, and you know, Carcass is a band I don't like. A lot of people love that band. I'm older. Yeah, I got to see them. I was never a fan of them, man. I never liked them. I never like the grindcore stuff that I like was like obviously Napalm, and I liked Brutal Truth.
Oh yeah, I love Brutal Truth.
Just because Dan, I like Nuclear Assault. To me is one of the greatest thrash bands ever. Like I don't think that band gets any credit, and I love Brutal Truth. I thought they were just really cool, but yeah, I'm real kind of weird about. I grew up in Florida and watched the whole death metal scene come and go and all that stuff, and I've always been really picky about what I like, and you guys, man, I really like this record. It's cool. It sounds like you guys were tuned into some old school stuff. I really like the record because it's got that vibe to it. Yeah, it's awesome. I'm of the belief system of never, you know, if it's not broke, don't fix it. You know, like it's a lot of bands. I think
we wanted to tap into it. Yeah, we wanted to tap into it while at the same time bringing our own sound and our own
absolutely, yeah. Song, right? It's unique.
Yeah.
And it's fresh, but it's got that cool vibe to it.
Thank you.
Yeah, man, it's awesome.
Napalm Death. I saw a guy wearing an Insect Warfare hat at the post office 20 minutes ago, and I wanted to give him a high five. You know.
I have never listened to them. I'm not real. I'm more of a.
More the death metal guy.
Yeah, I mean, I listen to a lot of different stuff, but and I'm real weird about it. Like, I don't like. I don't know. I'm just kind of particular about what I like. And a lot of bands that I like are still exist, and they put records out. But I mean, and I mentioned this to someone earlier. My favorite death metal band is probably Suffocation.
Yeah, do you like that kind of slammier stuff?
No, but I despise deathcore. Like, deathcore is to me the putrid scum of this planet. I'm not a fan of it. I just don't like it. I find it offensive, and I don't like the bands that do it. And I think it's just you're you know, it's a little too. But I realize that a lot of that stuff came from that. No, but I guess I like brutal death metal, I guess is what people would call it. I don't know.
That's true, yeah.
I'm a big Deicide fan. I like Malevolent Creation. I like Pestilence and Death. Early Death stuff. And the later stuff's a little... Like Human, I don't like that, right? It's too flashy. I don't like that. It's too... and I saw Death. I saw Death a bunch. I really like Spiritual Healing, like that era. I love that record. That's my favorite Death album. It's just kind of nasty. But yeah, I don't know. It's weird. Like the first couple Deicide records, I think are great. You know, but it's some of the stuff. You know, I love the first 4 Cannibal albums. Anything with Barnes on it, I love that shit. I saw them so many times with Barnes, and this stuff with George is okay. It's just not really my thing.
I get it.
I like really just kind of nasty stuff. Gorgasm, I guess, is probably and they're not a new band. That's probably the newest as I get with death metal. Like, I just don't.
Yeah.
I don't know. I can't get into the whole, you know, and anything deathcore is just.
Yeah. No deathcore for me.
I can't do it. I just can't, man. I appreciate the hell out of what you're all doing. I wish there were more bands that do new stuff, but keep it real, not not Hot Topic, like I don't know, I just don't thing. But anyway, I got off track there. I apologize. But yeah, I mean, look, this record's great. We'll jump into side 2 of it here. I love that this is listed on here this way too. It's so cool. Like I'm looking at the record. Let's see. So track 7, The Collector.
The Collector is that one is so fun to play. We look at it kind of angular, but it's real straightforward. All of our stuff is kind of straightforward. We don't really mess around with time signatures or anything. It's straightforward, but the way that the riffs go, it doesn't feel like it. So I think The Collector is another one of those where it's got such a weird cadence to it. It's very feel based. That's kind of how I write drums. Is I write them feel based. Like I want something to feel good. I want something to feel cool.
Sure.
And The Collector absolutely meets that one. That one's real fun to play. It's slightly shorter, but I feel like it's got a really nice death metal groove to it.
Oh yeah.
And the ending is one of probably my favorite ending on the record. Just it's abrupt, it's heavy, it hits you in the mouth, and I think that's kind of sums up the whole record for you.
Oh yeah, it's
abrupt, heavy, and hits you in the mouth. Absolutely.
Track 8, Failed State.
That one is the last song we wrote for the record, and I think we always say the last song you write is what you want your band to sound like going forward.
Okay.
And if our next record sounds like Failed State, I'll be perfectly happy with that one. Got that riff. I remember Matt brought that riff in, and I was like, man, that is just evil right there. That first riff on that song is just evil. And we filled it out with a lot of really cool parts, and it's really fun to play. That one went through a little bit of editing where we took out the ending, and then it just kind of ended. It's like, that doesn't work. We got to put that breakdown back in. God, that one is real fun. That one we think we wrote together, the lyrics too. We kind of sat in the studio and, I think we accomplished what we set out to do with that song.
It's killer, man. That's a really good track. What about track 9, Feeding the Flames?
So that one is probably the most prototypical death metal track on the record. I think when we sat down to write it, we said let's do kind of a slower, mid-paced death metal song to put in the middle of the record, and it went through so many transformations. I think we rewrote it 10 times because we were never happy with it, and we didn't want to put a song on that we weren't happy with.
Sure.
I think I almost wanted to cut the song even in the studio, but I've seen quite a few reviews so far, and I think every review has mentioned that song as a standout. So I'm really happy that we took the time to refine it, and especially that ending part. There's this kind of tremolo part at the end.
Yeah.
And I think that's just I think that sums up the record. That's probably my favorite part of the whole record, the lyrics, the way it goes. And I actually wrote the lyrics to that song, and I kind of wrote it as an homage to this old, it was like a mining anthem about miners on strike in like 1915.
Weird.
And I think I kind of went through it, and I kind of adapted it and kind of changed some stuff, and kind of wrote it for our band. And God, I think it really works well as a title track.
Yeah, it's killer. Let's see, track 10, Comply or Die.
That one is real fun to play, and it's. I think someone said it was the happy song, but I mean, it's not happy at all. I think it just starts out kind of with kind of a different feel. It's got kind of a different groove, but it's real fun to play. And that one we almost left off too. We had to completely rewrite that from like minute 1 on. So,
oh wow!
Yeah, so that one went through a lot of changes too, and it's infinitely better for it. That one's close to Sean's heart, I know for sure. It's kind of a anthem against police brutality and the overstepping of authority, and that means a lot to all of us. We're all very anti-authority, so
sure.
Any boot stepping on someone's neck, that's an object of scorn for us.
Sure, of course.
So especially Comply or Die.
I mean, this record's really nasty. I like it a lot. let's see, track 11, the last track, Corporate Dystopia.
Yeah, the last track, that's Corporate Dystopia, and that one we also changed a whole bunch. Big surprise, right?
Right.
We wanted to have a kind of a Death Doom feel to it, so it starts out just with those dive bombs and that guitar riff, and it's low and it's slow, and it's oh man, that one is so fun to play too. I wish we were playing that tonight as well. So it starts out with that Death Doom part, and then it just goes off the rails, and a lot of fun blast beats in that one, a lot of fun D beats. And I remember right before the ending, Ryan suggested this real great drum part. I'm really proud of the drums on that song because it's just I can't even describe it.
Sure.
I'm just playing along to the guitars, and the guitars are just wild. And I think that one came out better than I even envisioned. When I went back and listened to that recording, it's like, wow, that one. I don't think we could have nailed that one anymore. And I think it's a great album closer. And we don't dick around with anything at the end too. There's no fade out. There's no extended passage. It's just like we went in there and we played the riff, and then we stopped, and that's the end of the record. We want it to be succinct, and we want it to get to the point. I think the record's about 26 minutes, 27 minutes.
Nice.
Which for death grind, I think is the perfect time. You don't want to wear your welcome. And I do love when those records are like 20, 25 minutes. But I think that really only works if songs are about a minute or two. And we wanted to not wear it or welcome it. We wanted to get out there and have 10 or 11.
Yeah, it's great
songs.
I mean, this whole record's very enjoyable. I was listening to it in the car. It's very cool. And as far as the production on it, did you guys produce it yourselves, or?
So Ryan Bram, our bass player, is an engineer.
Okay.
He owns his own studio here in Tucson.
Nice.
So he produced everything. He engineered and he mixed it. We have a lot of input on everything. Obviously as a band, so we put produced by Ryan and Languish. But Ryan did all the heavy lifting. He set up all the mics and he mixed it, and he put in hours into the production of this record, and he did such a good job. He kept saying, he's like, this is my band, and I want to have a nice, I want this to be a showcase for the band and for my studio, and I'm so proud of how the production came out. I think that's a standout for this genre.
Oh yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
Now, as far as like the album artwork, what can you tell us about that?
So the album art is done by our guitar player Matt, who is the aforementioned doctor to be. So that guy is just the master of all trades. He worked on it for a year, maybe longer. He drew it several times. He did it digitally. He then redrew it by hand on paper.
Okay.
I think with pencil, and then he went over it with pen. He's very meticulous. He's very detail oriented, and there's so many little minute details in the album art that honestly, every time I look at it, I see something different. And the way we do our album art is we kind of brainstorm as a band, and we talk about what we want it to look like and what the theme is going to be. And I think the theme with this one was just like, we want a skeleton riding a skeleton horse and just going through the apocalypse, so there's nuclear explosion behind him, and I think it really sums up the record. It's very detail oriented. It's very meticulous. It's creepy. It's heavy. I want to put it on a flag or something. It needs to be blown up at full resolution because I think it's so well done.
Yeah, it's great. It's really, really cool. I love that it's all in house. And then as far as the recording process for this, I know we touched a little on during the pandemic. Did you all just go on and off recording during the pandemic, this record? Or I know you mentioned recording it in 2021.
We actually just did a lot of pre-production. So
Okay.
We did a lot of stuff in our rehearsal space.
Nice.
And we just made sure that we would be good to go once we got into the studio because we didn't want to mess around. So we actually tracked drums, guitar, bass, all within the same week, I want to say.
Okay.
At least 2 weeks. So knock that out, and then we had to take a little bit more time for vocals just so we could refine lyrics and the phrasing. And we knocked that out, I think, a couple weeks after. So, and then Ryan took a couple months to mix and really make it the best he could. And then we had Brad Boatwright from Audio Siege in Portland. He mastered it, and he worked with Ryan consistently. And I mean, he did a great job. Mastering is such a fine art.
Absolutely.
You can't be too heavy. You can't be too heavy-handed. You can't be invisible. And Brad and Ryan just work so well together. So it's funny, the amount of time we took writing it, it was kind of the opposite for recording it. We just got in, we were ready to go. We didn't mess around. I don't like to mess around in the studio. I always feel like I'm wasting people's time and money, especially
sure, of course.
There's a lot of pressure on you because you go first.
Oh, right.
Yeah, so you go first, and if you lay down bad drum tracks, the record's going to be bad. So you got to make sure that you're on your game. And so I usually do drums in about 2 days, and this one took about 2 days, and I'm happy as hell with how it sounds.
It's great, man. This record, checked it out on headphones, listened to it in the car. It's the way I like to do it. The whole record's great.
Yeah, so you have the whole experience, and that's perfect.
Yeah, it's great, man. I mean, it's really, really, really good. Kids, buy the new album from Languish. It's called Feeding the Flames of Annihilation. It's available October 7th from Prosthetic Records. Thank you so much for doing this today. I appreciate you taking the time to do this with me. Yeah. Sorry I get off on rants. Sometimes it happens.
That's okay. Me too.
Get going on stuff. Now, real quick before I let you go, you mentioned a couple times here, you guys are playing tonight. That's fucking cool as shit. You're playing, it sounds like in your hometown.
We are doing our first hometown show in almost 3 years. So I got a little bit of the jitters, just because it's been so long.
Sure.
I played a couple other shows with a couple other bands, but nothing really hits like your baby. And Languish is my baby, and looking forward to seeing all my friends and showing out in our hometown. And this is the only show we have booked at the moment, and we'll hopefully get a couple more on the agenda. But right now, this is our biggest focus: is this Tucson show, and then making sure people hear the record.
Excellent. Yeah, then they definitely should. This is a fabulous, fabulous record.
Thank you so much.
It's nice. It's nice to know that there's still bands, putting out interesting music. This is a really, really great record. It's definitely one of the best things I've heard this year. Again,
that means a lot to me.
Yeah, man, it's killer. All my best to you with the band tonight, with the shows and moving forward. Again, kids, buy Feeding the Flames of Annihilation from Languish. It's Prosthetic Records, and it comes out October 7th. And Zach, I appreciate you taking the time to do this today.
Oh, thank you so much.
Phantasm.
And you know something? I sort of enjoyed it.
Phantasm.